Guys, what happens when you combine solar panels with an electric water heater? A crap ton of money saved on your electric bill, that's what. Let me show you how you can easily connect solar panels to offset your electricity consumption from your electric water heater. Whether it's tankless or tank style, this trick works. 3.56 amps of beautiful solar power is feeding my electric water heater right now. Big thanks to Todd over at DIY Solar Help Desk for helping brainstorm the very simple, less than $30 components to make this happen, as well as to Camplux for sending out this electric water heater since I didn't have one to test out and use in this video. Links to all the components here, as well as the solar components, are down in the description. Okay, let me go through this setup. It's very temporary in nature, and just to prove this proof of concept. Let's start out here at the solar panels. These are 4 370 watt bifacial solar panels. Take note of the length of the shadows. I'm doing this in the morning, so we are not going to get peak luminance, but it's supposed to be partly cloudy today, and so I'm trying to get this filmed before we get more cloud cover. Take note of the solar panel stands. There's these front ones, and then there's these back here. They telescope out with this adjustment here. You can adjust the angle, and then they also come with big straps and earth anchors, so you can strap them down. Obviously, this is temporary for this proof of concept, so I haven't done that. These stands are from Powered Portable Solar. I'll leave a link for them down below. They're awesome. So each set of 2 panels, obviously totaling 4, come and plug into this microinverter here. So this microinverter accepts up to 2 panels. This particular model is the DS3L. There are different sizes, but this produces about 760 watts total, which is perfect for my panels. Notice that down here in the bottom right corner, there's a light, and right now it's blinking a slow red. That's because it's not detecting the grid yet. And then I've got a second AP Systems inverter identical to this one here, plugged into those panels. And then I've got this trunk cable here, and it allows you to connect and daisy chain multiple of these inverters together. This trunk cable comes over here, and I've just temporarily spliced on an extension cable. Typically what would happen is you'd have another plug here for the next microinverter, or you can get extension pieces to add on. But I don't have all of that, so I've just temporarily spliced on an extra wire here. Comes over, feeds through an inline breaker, and this protects the cable that goes to the solar, because this is AC power now after the microinverters. Now we have the water heater. Okay, it comes over here. This is this yellow wire here, and then it's stripped right here is the solar power. And then this big cable here is the grid power coming in from the breaker panel. Now it looks like a lot is going on here, but let me break it down and make it easy for you to see. First, I've got all my grounds tied into a ground bus bar. You don't have to do a bus bar. I just didn't have enough wire nuts and whatnot to bring all these grounds together, so I'm using this bus bar for this video. The solar comes in. This is a contactor, relay, whatever you want to call it. It's got a 240 volt coil on it, and notice that on one side we just have the solar power coming in. Notice on the other side here I've got the grid power coming in, and then these wires right here go to the load. So the load is always going to be able to pull power from the grid, regardless of the state of this contactor right here. Next, we have this current sensing relay, and it's clamped over one of the wires going to the load. So what's going to happen is the water heater is going to turn on, and it's going to start pulling power from the grid, and it will be able to do that because these are all tied together here. As this current sensing relay senses the current going to the load, it's going to close and send power from this wire down this other wire right here, and that's powering the coil on this relay. When that closes, it's going to allow the microinverter to see the grid power, and as a result, it's going to allow those microinverters to boot up. Then the solar will come online at that point, and it's going to start sending power in and offsetting the load from that water heater. So this configuration is with this tankless water heater because it was easy for me to get my hands on. This would be substantially better use case for a tank style water heater because it's going to run for a longer period of time, because you'll see that we need time to let the solar boot up and apply its power. So let me give you a demonstration on how this all works. Okay, just so we have a baseline, I've disconnected the solar right there, so nothing's plugged in. We're just running off grid power, and currently we're pulling 27-ish amps, okay, because we do have the water heater on. You can see the water is running right here. It varies a little bit, so let's see what we can offset with this solar array. Just an FYI, you can adjust the current on this current sensing relay, and I've adjusted it so that whenever more power is being pulled by the load right here than what my solar array can produce, that's when it will turn on. and high 20 amp range is going to be substantially more than what my current solar array can produce, so this will turn on almost immediately. I'm going to leave the microphone here and go turn things on, and you'll hear the relay click, connecting the solar to this water heater. Then you might be able to see, but this red light on this current sensing relay is going to light up when it's completing the circuit and introducing solar power. Okay, did you hear that click? It's really hard to see in the bright, but we've got that red light glowing. Notice that the inverters still haven't booted up. We're 29 amps at the moment, 28 being drawn. Okay, let's go look at the microinverters. It's really hard to see, but these inverters were flashing red before. Now they're flashing kind of a very light, faint green. You might not be able to see it on the camera. Oh, there you go. Typically, inverters like this have about a 5-minute delay before they start producing power after they see the grid. So let's give them 5 minutes here, and we'll see what kind of difference they make to the consumption of the water heater. Okay guys, we're up and running. Got the solar array going here. I've got this amp clamp on the wires coming in. Look at that. 3.48 amps, 240 volts. So now if we clamp the incoming power from the grid, you can notice a reduction. Now we're down to the 25 amp range. Remember how we were like almost 30 amps before? That is sweet. This is a 50 amp contactor. That is a 50 amp rated current sensing switch. A lot of water heaters use a 40 amp circuit, which this one requires. I've got an undersized solar array because I only have 4 panels. But if you think for a minute, you could scale that to at least, double that size, if not triple that size. Obviously, beef up your wiring in conjunction with that. But this contactor can handle this size of wiring that is needed, number 8 wire, to power a 40 amp rated load. As we're seeing here, it does not pull that whole amount, at least at this particular unit. So if you picture a tank style water heater that turns on and runs for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever, to recover, well, during that time you could be basically using solar power for that. The other cool thing about a tank style water heater is it's like a thermal battery, right? So you could set up a simple schedule for that so that it runs and heats the water up during the daytime and then doesn't run during the nighttime. So that way you can utilize the solar power to its maximum potential. Take your showers when the sun is shining, wash your clothes when the sun is shining, do your dishes when the sun is shining, and let the solar run a good chunk of the daylight hours, dumping power into your water heater. And then let it store up that energy in the tank during the day, have it not pull power during the night, and just use what's in the tank, and then the next morning have it kick back on and reheat. Very, very easy way to offset a major appliance of power consumption with solar. And with this setup, you don't ever have to worry about backfeeding to the grid because solar will only ever be connected to the load when it's pulling enough current to be 100% self-consumption from that. And then as soon as the load shuts off, it's going to trigger this relay that's going to open this and completely disconnect the solar. These AP systems, inverters, are equipped, with anti-islanding, no backfeeding when the power goes out kind of thing. But even if the power did go out while you were reheating your water, this requires the grid. So as soon as the grid power goes out, this is going to all disconnect anyway. So this is going to pop out way faster than those microinverters, do a rapid shutdown and stop producing power. I've got a great resource at a super good price for anything solar panels for you guys, as well as these microinverters. Both of them in stock here in the United States. Payoff Solar, local company here near where I live. You can do local pickup if you're nearby, or you can have it shipped to you. Prices that I'm pretty darn sure you can't find anywhere else on full-size solar panels, as well as these awesome microinverters. Let me show you what happens when the water shuts off, or in the case of a tank unit, the device reaches temperature and shuts off. Let you hear this relay, and you can see the amps from the solar get immediately cut off. You heard the relay open, and the amps from the solar here immediately drop to 0. So you're only ever going to be receiving solar power when you can fully consume it. That's what makes this basically a quote-unquote off-grid system, even though it is connected to the grid and you're using the grid as, a giant battery, so to speak. It makes up for the clouds that might go over the solar or whatever, partial shading, etc. This is completely optional. The solar will work even without this, but if you want to get insights into your power generation, you can get the AP Systems app and the Wi-Fi bridge here. I'm going to put their app up here on the screen. It's very basic and straightforward. But you're able to see the current power being generated. Right now it's 1,126 watts. Then we can easily see how much total energy we've produced. Again, this is 100% optional. The microinverters work without this, but if you wanted to get some additional insights into what your inverters are doing, you can easily pick up the little Wi-Fi bridge. The app is free. want to get the Wi-Fi bridge. Now, I told Camplux, when they offered to send this out to me, that I didn't necessarily have a place to install it permanently, so I won't be able to show you that. It's running right now, though. Let's just go check the output of the water. Oh yeah, nice and toasty. That's pretty decent flow, too. For straight hot water, continuous output, not too shabby at all. There's a nice little screen that the frame rate of the camera is screwing up, so you cannot see that on the video, but it tells you the temperature. You can push this button right here, and it turns the unit off, and then you can go ahead and push it again, and it turns the unit back on, and then you're able to adjust, just by turning this knob, you can adjust the set temperature that the water comes out at. Also a really good price point. And they've got a whole bunch of different options, different size tankless units like this. They've got electric models, they've got gas models, they've got tank models. So anyway, I'm going to leave a link down in the description so you guys can check out Camplux and their products. Let's unbox this water heater. Got a packet of documentation and some mounting hardware, it appears. And here's the water heater. Got a pigtail of wiring coming out the end here. We've got a knob that rotates as well as pushes right here. On the side, we've got the blue cold water inlet, and on the left side, we've got the red hot water outlet. We've got some mounting points and these little rubberized feet on the back. And as you can see here, it's 240 volt, 8 kW, 8,000 watts, pulls 33.3 amps. It's good with pressures from 2.9 all the way up to 87 psi, and it requires 8 gauge wires, use a 40 amp breaker, and the minimum flow rate to activate it is 0.475 gallons per minute. In that bag of documentation, we've got the user's manual, we've got some rubber washers here. This is mounting hardware, just the support page. And it's got a little munched. We've got a mounting template. Be sure to note in the manual the specific clearances around the unit for mounting. Here's a sneak peek at the insides. Power comes in here. Flows through this device here, and according to the wiring schematic in the manual, this is some kind of temperature sensor or something. Anyway, the power comes out of it. We've got a main negative that goes to the heater block here, but all the positives continue and go to this PCB that's underneath. You can kind of see parts of it. Anyway, it's down inside this. That's your main control PCB. So it's going to control the power that flows to the heater block. I believe it's a 2-stage heater block, so it can energize half of it or all of it as demand is needed. Obviously, we've got our control PCB for the display as well as a little control knob. Right, very, very simple and basic. All right, guys, so that is solar-powered water heating. What do you guys think of this? You guys always have so many great observations and thoughts. I think this is a winner. It's super, super easy to implement this and be able to offset the consumption of one of our heaviest electronic appliances in any home that has one. But let me know your thoughts. Like I said, links to all of this stuff is down in the description below. Another big thanks to Camplux for sending this out. Really, really cool unit. You should definitely check out their full product offering. And then another big thanks to Todd over at DIY Solar Help Desk for coming up with this very simple, inexpensive solution to making this whole solar thing work. Do this channel a favor, you guys. I try to be creative and figure out things that are not being shown by the masses, I don't think. But this is a real deal that could save you some substantial money. If this kind of thing is valuable to you, please be sure and show my channel a little bit of love and like the video, subscribe, comment, and share. 4 100% free things for you to do, but it really benefits the channel, and that will give me the continued motivation and encouragement to keep figuring out creative solutions like this. Sure appreciate all you guys. I got some really great content coming up, and we'll catch y'all next time.